A boa constrictor stuck to her face.
A Northeast Ohio woman rescues 2 snakes, only to have one turn on her. We're digging into the boa constrictor betrayal.
A stunner on the Senate floor. Senator John McCain, back at work with a brain cancer diagnosis, breaks with his party and helps shut down an Obamacare repeal. What now?
But first, we have breaking news at the top of 5 tonight. It appears the president's chief of staff is out.
President Trump just tweeted that he's named Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly as his White House chief of staff, but he did not say anything about his current chief of staff, Reince Priebus. And ever since the early days of the administration, there have been rumors of tension between Priebus and other power players in the White House, like Steve Bannon. Most recently, the president's new communications director, Anthony Scaramucci, called Priebus a paranoid schizophrenic and accused him of being a leaker. Again, new chief of staff John Kelly is already serving as Homeland Security Secretary, so the president should have another cabinet seat to fill.
Right now, Cleveland's official breaking news chopper Air Tracker 5 is over a boat accident on Lake Erie. News 5's John Rutter. What can you tell us there at the breakwall?
Well, Lee, we're trying to get some more information on this whole situation here. Whenever we first got here in Air Tracker 5, we only saw one boat up there on the breakwall that was kind of stuck on that breakwall. But since we've been flying around here, we've actually noticed another boat partially submerged. Now, Cleveland Fire tells us that this was reported as a water rescue from the East 55th Street Marina here in Cleveland. This is all happening a little bit east of the East 55th Street Marina. If you think where that Lakeshore power plant was, it's actually directly out into the lake from where that was across the shoreway. The Coast Guard tells us that when they arrived on scene, people were exiting the water. Nobody was in the water. The boat was overturned, and the boaters swam to shore. So we're waiting on some clarification as to which boat may have kind of triggered this whole water rescue operation here. But we can definitely see 2 boats in the water. This one here is kind of getting battered by the waves, because we obviously have some high winds here this afternoon. So we're going to try to make some calls and try to follow up and get some more information. But for now, we can see 2 boats here in the water. It appears that everybody is okay. Once we get that clarification, we'll be sure to let you know. Lee, Frank, we'll send things back inside to you.
Now we have a news alert tonight at 5. A local gun store targeted twice by criminals comes out with a strong message on Facebook. We are now at war with you.
The message so chilling, the language so strong, it was deleted today, but we saw it before it disappeared after those guns were swiped Thursday morning from Sherwin Shooting Sports in Eastlake. And News 5's Mike Brookbank joins us live from Eastlake's Police Department. Mike, this Facebook post, pretty aggressive.
Yeah, Frank, they sure were. These posts, which have since been deleted, had offensive language warning the suspects to watch their backs and that people here in this community are living in a war zone. Those posts, which have since been deleted, came just hours after the back door of the gun shop was forcibly removed, possibly with a truck. Detectives are now trying to recover surveillance video, but power was cut to the building, so that's been challenging. We know about 50 handguns, along with 10 long guns, were taken. Tonight, only about a half dozen of them have been recovered. Suspects in custody in Cleveland were found with some of the weapons. The search for the suspects and the guns continues at this hour. As concern about their whereabouts grows, the Eastlake Police Chief tells me people in the community should leave the police work up to them. That's his response to the fired-up Facebook messages that popped up on the gun shop's page declaring war on those responsible.
We understand people are sensitive to the issues and they had their business broken into, and it's good to rely on the community for tips and information, but if we ask for the community to do things that are outside of their realm, we don't need anyone doing any vigilante work or anything like that, because it's just going to be a negative for all of us.
The gun shop refused our request for an on-camera interview. We do know that that shop was hit back in 2011, and we don't know how many guns were taken in that break-in. Tonight, there is a $10,000 reward leading to information and the arrest of the suspects, as well as the recovery of those guns. We're live in Eastlake tonight. Mike Brookbank, News 5.
New information out of Columbus, where some of the rides at the State Fair reopened today after a horrific tragedy on opening night that left an 18-year-old future Marine dead. News 5 anchor Rob Powers is here to kick off our team coverage. Rob.
Frank, today some of the children's rides and other low-impact rides like a giant slide had been re-inspected and now are back open to visitors. Those re-inspections were ordered after a piece of the Fireball ride broke off Wednesday night while the ride was in motion and threw a car full of people across the midway, killing 18-year-old Tyler Jarrell, who only 5 days earlier had enlisted to become a U.S. Marine. 28 rides were expected to be back up and running today, fewer than half those at the State Fair. Today, some of those injured in that fireball accident are out of the hospital and talking about the terrifying accident.
It went high, like all the way up in the sky, then came back, and then when it was coming back, it was lower. It was too close to the ground, and then it did it again one more time, and then that's when it just hit the ground, and then it just flew off, and then like the pieces hit me too.
The Dutch manufacturer of the fireball told operators of that ride across the country to shut them down pending the investigation. Investigators have been working around the clock now to recheck every ride, hoping to find some clue to that tragedy. More than 70 are being re-inspected altogether, and the fireball is being re-inspected and investigated as well.
Now, Rob, we continue our team coverage with an in-depth look at just what it takes to pass an Ohio State inspection and how often those inspections actually happen. News 5's James Girardi is live from the Solon Home Days Fair that kicked off just minutes ago.
Lee, all 24 of the rides here at Solon Home Days were inspected at the beginning of the fair season, and then they were voluntarily re-inspected today. Ride inspectors out in Solon today checking 24 rides at the request of Solon Park officials. This is the 18th year of Home Days.
The company that we currently work with, we've had a long-standing rapport and have used them for all 18 years of the Solon Home Days history.
For 14 years, Rich Parker has been the guy in charge of Solon Home Days. He'll tell you one of the most important aspects for fair safety is working with a reputable carnival company that has a spotless record with the state.
We take the additional step of working with the state to have the rides, what's called re-inspected, once they're on site and set up, just immediately prior to the fair opening.
In a News 5 investigation, we learned it is not a requirement in Ohio to have carnival rides re-inspected once they're assembled at a new location. A re-inspection must be requested by the host organization.
And each day, the ride operator has the responsibility by statute to inspect the ride and operate it before a patron gets on it. So that is the rigorous safety inspection.
Ohio law, though, requires the carnival company operating the ride perform daily inspections of their own equipment. This is a far less regulated practice, though. State inspectors are required to check 37 different components before a ride can be declared safe.
Getting it off.
We also learned there are just 9 state inspectors responsible for inspecting every carnival ride across the entire state. Reporting live in Solon tonight for News 5, I'm James Girardi.
And now new developments after a dramatic health care vote on the Senate floor. In the early morning hours today, Senator John McCain stunned his colleagues by joining 2 other Republicans voting against the so-called skinny repeal of Obamacare. Check out the reaction. After a dramatic direct exchange on the Senate floor, Senator McCain walked away from the vice president's last-ditch appeal at 1:29 a.m. and voted that measure down. McCain joined Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski in squashing the skinny repeal, which would have left an estimated 11 million Americans without insurance. McCain's surprise vote has gotten a lot of credit from objectors to the bill, but Minority Leader Chuck Schumer pointed out the other 2 Republican senators that have openly been against that measure right from the start.
Certainly not to be forgotten. Of equal praise are Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. They were amazing. And women are in so many instances stronger than men. They brag less about it, but they are. And last night sort of proved that.
Okay, so what now? McCain says it's time to return to what he calls the correct way of legislating, sending the bill to committee, holding hearings, hearing from both parties, and getting recommendations from governors. President Trump isn't really showing support for that plan, though. Today on Twitter, he suggested for the second time letting Obamacare fail and forcing the matter altogether. But despite problems with the health care law, most health care experts don't believe there's an immediate risk of outright failure.
Okay, Rob, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Mark Johnson. What's going on out there? Where's the rain?
Where's the rain? Well, it's over here towards Sandusky, out over Lake Erie, sliding down almost into the Mansfield area and into Worcester now. We've got some areas of rain, and they'll be sliding south and eastward as we move through the evening and the overnight. They're going to kind of rotate this way. 81 degrees, Dover, New Philly, 81 in Akron, Canton now at 83, 75 in Cleveland. Temps have dropped there. We had 81 degrees last hour at Hopkins Airport. Here we go, your weather window. Notice 70s all the way through 11 p.m. for Greater Cleveland. There is a small chance for an isolated shower. I think a slightly higher chance through the Akron-Canton area for an isolated thunder shower through about 9, 10, 11 o'clock tonight, and then we'll dry you out after midnight with temps falling down to near 60 degrees by sunrise. Well, it looks like a pretty good weekend. I'll tell you the best day to get outside coming up.
Some stunning revelations. It is the dark, seedy underbelly of the internet.
And we want to give you a front row seat. Tonight, we take you behind the screen for a look at the dark web, where everything from hitmen to kidneys are bought and sold.
Hello?
I had a boa constrictor stuck to my face.
And you have a what?
A woman calls 911 with her rescued boa constrictor living up to its name around her face. We spoke with neighbors who called her the local snake lady.
Tonight is our last chance to tell you stories about Lee Jordan and Leon Bibb before they sail or maybe even catch a cruise off into retirement. Next up, how you became part of Lee's extended family over the years, and also throughout our newscast, some very special goodbyes for our soon-to-be retirees.
Leon and Lee, a big congratulations to each of you on your outstanding careers, and from all of us here at ABC News, enjoy your retirements. Can we come?
Turns out this hour is the last time Lee Jordan will grace the anchor desk. All week long, we've been looking back at hers and Leon Bibb's incredible careers. You can't see her dancing off screen as we count down to their retirements. News 5's John Kosick has been telling us their stories all week. And John, she's interviewed some pretty incredible people, but a few stand out, right?
Yeah, and you know what? You won't find their names on ballots or billboards. They are quite simply the folks that helped shape one Leanne Jordan. Anyone who's ever been interviewed or had a conversation with Lee Jordan knows her ability to make you feel that she's known you her whole life. A few she shared the air with, though, can especially say that's true. At different times, Lee has had the chance to introduce you to her family, starting with her mom.
I should have known that Lee would end up doing something in the public eye because she was such an aggressive, friendly child. I recall at about 18 months, she would go up to total strangers and say, "Hi there, my name is Leanne Jordan."
Where she got such an outgoing personality was evident to viewers when Lee traveled to the Mall of America.
Pretty good place to meet people, too. I mean, look at all kinds. Can you believe that? I can't believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing here.
Leanne?
Grandma? It's Grandma Henrietta. I can't believe I just saw you do that.
That's all right. That's only my pastor.
You have shared so many milestones with Lee over the years, and in October of 1994, even got to meet her newborn son Tyler before most members of her family. I should say immediate family, because to Lee, that's what you all have been. She would raise Tyler with the same values her parents instilled in her and her siblings, something her father Bill shared many years ago.
Her mother and I promulgated the idea that from, I'd say, the 4th or 5th grade on, that you were going to go to higher education. You were going to have a higher education, and you were going to do all you could do. We wanted Lee to grow up, as well as her sisters, to make their own decisions, to be good citizens, and be a success in their own right.
And to that point, Dad would say mission accomplished. In about a half hour, we're going to have more on the childhood of Leon Bibb and what set him on the career path he chose. This is our last night of story, telling you these stories, but we're going to have that final send-off coming up in about a half hour tonight with that special at 6 o'clock before these two great talents head off into retirement.
Well, if you were trying to turn on the waterworks here, mission accomplished.
Save the best for last.
Oh, my goodness. You know, that segment with my dad was about how to raise a successful daughter, and it was funny because he was, you know, he was kind of nervous. My dad was always so, you know, gregarious with everybody. Really. And then on the opposite end, my grandmother was on the morning exchange several times baking her muffins and cookies, recipes that many of you have said to me you still use. And she acted like she'd been on TV about 1,000 times.
She had perfect delivery.
She did. Perfect comedic timing. Oh, Henrietta, I miss her and my dad so much.
Did you know how aggressive Lee Jordan was as a child?
I was an aggressive child. But they beat it out of me.
All right, let's talk a little weather here. We got a live picture from Worcester right now where they're seeing some rainfall. Yeah, look at that rain shield coming into Worcester there. Sunset time tonight at 8:48 p.m. We're losing 2 minutes at daylight. 73 at Burke, Worcester 75, 83 still in Akron. We've got 81, 83 in Canton, 81 in downtown Akron, 76 degrees in Ravenna, lower 70s and middle 70s near the Lake Erie shoreline. Fremont with some rain, 72, same for Norwalk, where the rain-cooled air is. You are cooler. Here we go. Let's zoom in. First of all, we're going to go in to the Worcester area. We showed you that tower cam showing the showers nearby. You can see them floating southward, and they're all around the city of Worcester down to Salt Creek, almost into Millersburg. Here we go, Put-in Bay, a lot of heavy rain there, some thunder as well, down into Fremont, and there's one traveling south toward Tiffin. This one here could easily rotate into Danbury over Sandusky Bay and impact Sandusky City as well as Cedar Point in the next 30 minutes or so. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's show you your weather window for the overnight tonight. We're going to go 74 degrees at 5, 73 for Cleveland at 7 p.m. We've got 70s all the way through 11 and 68 at 1 a.m., so not too shabby. And greater Cleveland, the threat for a rain shower is about 10%. A little bit higher in the Akron-Canton area, 80 at 5. Notice there's a little lightning bolt there. Thunder boomers, potentially possible, isolated though through the evening hours tonight. 64 at 11. By 1 a.m., you are down to 62 degrees. Your overnight lows area-wide, a lot of you are going to bottom out in the 50s. We'll go mid-50s for Millersburg and Ashland, 58 for Medina, 58 in Chardon. Ashtabula low tonight, 59 degrees. 76 tomorrow. Wow, becoming sunny, breezy, and mild. Not a bad day, but again, if you're near Lake Erie, there's going to be a nice little breeze coming on shore, and the waves are going to go 5 to 7 feet, so not great for boaters. There we go. Small craft advisory, 5 to 7 footers tonight and again tomorrow. So quite a chop out on the lake. Lee Jordan, your yacht will have to stay in the harbor tonight. Your inflatable yacht? It's got a little captain's hat and everything. 59 tonight for Akron. Evening raindrops, maybe a rumble of thunder, then some clearing after midnight. We'll go 76 tomorrow, becoming sunny. A comfortable day. Cedar Point tomorrow, sunny but breezy. Again, you're near the Lake Erie shoreline, 75. Let's show you that 7-day forecast. Sunday, your pick day. Mid-70s Saturday, but Sunday, winds calm down. A lot of sunshine. Warm highs near 80, lower humidity. 84 on Monday, and then we'll warm you right back up. Middle and upper 80s Tuesday and Wednesday. Next round of rain, not until next Thursday. And the next round of Lee Jordan coming up right after this break.
Tensions are high in the Pacific tonight after North Korea launched another ballistic missile, one that has traveled farther than any other missile they have tested. According to a government spokesperson in Japan, the missile landed in the ocean just off the coast. U.S. officials say the nation is trying to develop nuclear-armed missiles capable of reaching our west coast. Did President Trump just encourage police brutality?
That's what it sounded like after he gave a speech to a room full of law enforcement on Long Island. He came to talk about his administration's crackdown on illegal immigration and violent crime. Ended up appearing to endorse rougher treatment of suspects and police custody.
I said, please don't be too nice. Like when you guys put somebody in the car and you're protecting their head, you know, the way you put their hand over. Like, don't hit their head, and they've just killed somebody, don't hit their head. I said, you can take the hand away, okay?
The president also claimed laws are written to protect criminals and not police, saying, quote, laws are stacked against you. A News 5 exclusive up next. Buying a human kidney is as easy as finding the right website. Tonight, we're shining a light on the dark web.
Plus, a frantic woman calls 911 terrified that her newly rescued boa constrictor is wrapping around her face. Hear the calls and those from her neighbors.
Leon and Lee, for more than 3 decades, we've invited both of you into our homes, and you've become fixtures for our great community in Cleveland. And while Channel 5 and the city of Cleveland are all going to miss you, you both earned long and happy retirements.
News 5 at 5 continues. Sponsored by National Design Mart, your design superstore.
Time now for a look at today's top stories.
A gun store declares war on the criminals who stole dozens of weapons in Eastlake. A series of Facebook posts came up hours after the back door of Sherwin Shooting Sports was forced open and 60 guns stolen. The store owners used derogatory words to describe the crooks, told people living in the neighborhood they were in a war zone too. Those posts have since been deleted. About a half dozen of the stolen guns have been recovered.
Today, some of the children's and low-impact rides reopened at the State Fair after the Fireball ride broke apart Wednesday night, killing a teen and sending 7 others to the hospital. Inspectors have been working around the clock to re-inspect more than 70 rides at the fair. There's also an investigation to try and figure out why the Fireball broke apart.
And the president appeared to encourage police brutality while addressing law enforcement on Long Island today. He came to talk about his administration's crackdown on illegal immigration and violent crime and ended up appearing to endorse rougher treatment of suspects in police custody, saying, stop being so nice and telling officers not to protect suspects' heads while putting them in police cars. Explosives, fake passports, human organs, methamphetamine, even a hitman. You can find just about anything online if you know where to look on an underground network of sites called the Darknet. Now a local company is part of an international push to shut them down.
News 5's Megan Hickey has an exclusive look behind the screen into a world that will make you think twice about your own cybersecurity.
The U.S. Attorney General's office announced the takedown of a massive darknet site late last week, but we're learning it's an uphill battle, and a Hudson-based team of hackers is helping them fight the fight.
You can get drugs shipped to your house.
It's convenient.
We've got heroin, got ecstasy.
The inventory is vast.
Weapons, firearms, things like that. You can buy them directly off.
And with just a few clicks.
It's as simple as clicking add to cart.
Access to a world of illicit drugs, stolen credit card numbers, fake IDs, even a human kidney.
You can get basically anything you want.
You could even find an accomplice to a crime.
There's places where you can hire a hitman. You pay 10 grand and you tell them who they want to go after.
Federal investigators are working harder than ever to stop it, taking down Alpha Bay, one of the most popular darknet marketplaces, just last week.
This is likely one of the most important criminal investigations of this entire year.
But they're not alone in the fight. Turns out we've got a local team of defenders in our own backyard. Binary Defense Systems and its team of 7 hackers are scouring the dark net for threats against specific people or businesses.
We're trying to find the attack before you get attacked.
Especially the ones that are trying to sell your personal information.
Usernames, passwords to your email, your social media accounts.
And tipping off federal investigators to any threats to Homeland Security.
We can select how many we want. We can have them ship ammunition with it.
If caught, users can face federal charges. It's estimated that the darknet site Alpha Bay had more than $1 billion worth of transactions since it was created in 2014. Megan Hickey, News 5.
A Sheffield Lake woman is attacked by her pet boa constrictor.
Wild story. She had just rescued the snake when it turned on her. News 5's Jennifer Off visited the woman's neighborhood today. Has the terrifying tale.
A woman from Sheffield Lake inside her house with a boa constrictor wrapped around her neck, making this harrowing 911 call.
Ma'am, I've notified the ambulance and the fire and the police department. There's blood everywhere. Okay, and his jaw won't open? No. Okay, how big of a snake are we talking, ma'am?
She's like 5.5 feet.
This skin-crawling incident happened Thursday near the intersection of Howell and Lake Road. Neighbor Steve Kosman saying the 45-year-old woman had many snakes.
She would have it around her neck and walk over to the park behind us here. I just thought it was a little odd with her snakes.
When the 911 dispatcher asked her exactly how many snakes she had,
I have 11.
Sheffield Lake firefighters reportedly arrived to find the woman lying on her driveway. The boa constrictor was still wrapped around her neck, its fangs still in her face. One of the firefighters used a pocket knife to cut off the snake's head.
I was in shock. I was just shocked. I mean, it was right next to my mother-in-law's house, so I was like, oh, it was right there. And
while the snake was not poisonous, neighbors saying the woman was lucky to have gone to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Yeah, I would say she is very lucky to survive this.
When we asked the woman if she plans on keeping her other snakes, she declined to comment. I'm Jennifer Ah, reporting for News 5.
Okay. Oh, Mark.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears here.
Yeah, let's talk about some raindrops out here right now. As you can see, we got a few showers, a little rumble or two of thunder out over Lake Erie, moving on shore now into the Lake Erie Islands. Watch this. Sliding in there, some lightning there. Marblehead, Catawba Island, Danbury. It's going to slide south. It may turn a little bit towards Sandusky and Cedar Point. We'll keep an eye on that. Here we go down into Chippewa Township, Orville. We've got near Worcester here. We continue to see these moderate rain showers. East Union stretching down to Salt Creek into Lawrence. There's Coventry just into the Akron area with a few little isolated rain showers. Here, hour by hour shows isolated showers continuing, slowly fading away as we move through the evening. We'll get a little clearing after midnight as well. But again, your threat for rain here is not very high through the evening hours. What is ahead for you? Temps generally in the 70s all the way through 10, 11 o'clock. Will fall into the 60s by bedtime tonight.
Mark, I'm not liking this right here because it is our last chance to bring the great talent of Lee Jordan and Leon Bibb into your living rooms. And we've been counting down to their retirements by telling their stories tonight. Have you ever heard what first turned Leon Bibb onto journalism?
I was 11 years old, and he said, son, you have a way with words.
Yes, he does. Leon tells us about the school play and the 6th grade teacher that put him on the path to Cleveland and into all of our hearts.
From all of us here at Good Morning America, congratulations, Leon and Lee.
Two terrific people with two outstanding careers. Everyone in Northeast Ohio will miss them both.
We hope you have a lot of fun in your well-deserved retirement.
Well done.
In my world of weather, you guys are sending in some great photos tonight. Lightning Fun 1, crazy windy weather at Vermilion on Lake Erie. Look at those white caps there. Yes, indeed, 5 to 7 foot waves right now. And here's a funnel cloud, a water spout that developed earlier today just off Cedar Point. Michael D. Murphy, great job taking a picture of that water spout. Here's my favorite summer bug, the hummingbird moth. There it is. Look at that. Beautiful shot. From Rachel Butoric. Mark J. Weather on Twitter. Go ahead and like that. Follow me there. Mark Johnson, WEWS on Facebook. Like that page. Then all you do is tag me in your photo and I can show it on TV. We'll be right back.
Well, tonight we wrap up our look back at the careers of Lee Jordan and Leon Bibb with the big celebration coming up in about 15 minutes. But first, News 5's John Kostick is here with us once again. And John, you're going to tell us how Leon got to this point in his career.
You know, Frank, there were so many stories with Leon that I really wasn't quite sure how I was going to choose to wrap up the week. That wasn't until Tuesday when Governor Kasich turned the tables on Leon and made him the interviewee. And he asked him this last simple question.
Leon, when you think about this journey you've been on, from growing up in not a rich community or connected or anything like that, and being so young and having these moments, and then spending so many years, working, basically delivering the news to millions of people, who gets the credit? Mom, Dad, the Lord?
Yeah.
Or maybe all of you? Tell us.
All of them. The Lord, certainly. We always got to give honor and praise to God for getting to me where I am. But I think God gave me the parents I had, Leon and Georgia Bibb, bless their souls now. Leon and Georgia Bibb gave me. But Governor, I had a 6th grade teacher by the name of Robert C. Taylor, Miles Standish Elementary School. And he asked me to write the 6th grade graduation play. Wrote the play, presented the play, everything went well. The parents loved that play on graduation day, that theatrical play. And after that, Mr. Taylor came up to me and he put his hands on my shoulders. I was 11 years old. And he said, son, you have a way with words. It is a God-given gift. And if I were you, I would think about a career where I could use words. He says, son, I see you as a playwright or a journalist. And immediately a light bulb went off in my head. From that precise moment, I knew what I wanted to do. From that precise moment in time, I can take you to that spot next to room 103 by the radiator in the gymnasium. And I can take you to that spot and to that moment. And it even tears my eyes to even think about Mr. Taylor. He was 25 years old or so and had the wisdom of Paul. He saw something in me, and from that moment on, I said, journalism, that's what I want.
And maybe the wisdom of Leon Bibb. Godspeed.
Godspeed to you, Governor. And thank you so much. I've enjoyed the interview.
You've done a good job in responding. Very good, Leon.
So what would you like to say to Lee and Leon? We'd like to hear from you. Go to our Facebook page and type in your comments as we send these two off into retirement. And have you ever talked to Mr. Taylor?
I did.
Over the years?
I did. We would see each other even socially, after I came back to Cleveland as a journalist. And I spoke at his retirement party when he retired from Cleveland.
Oh, it came full
schools.
circle.
Came full circle. And I told that story, and Mr. Taylor remembered me. He remembered the play. He remembered the class, but he did not remember telling me to be a journalist because he only took 10 seconds to say it. And I call it the 10 seconds that changed my life.
Wow.
That's so interesting. And you suggested yesterday, Leon, and I've had this experience too, where you've had young people tell you that something you said to them as an intern or a student encouraged them to follow the same path.
And so you never know. I guess you can touch the future, really. Mr. Taylor touched the future, and you touch the future. All of us touch the future with the young people out there. Yeah.
I can always say this, you'll understand it, and Lee, this goes to you too. Tonight, the bells ring for you.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right, I'll listen for the bells.
Thank you.
Well, I got to transition to weather now.
I don't know how we do that.
Tonight it rains for you.
Sounds like a song.
That sounds like a song. Let's go over to our weather maps now. And again, we're keeping an eye on the Worcester area, beginning to see the skies kind of clearing out a little bit after that little rain shower moved through the city of Worcester, drying out now. And again, you can see blue sky here with the dark clouds here, pushing off toward the south. Raindrops. Yep, it's a wet pavement there at Worcester High School on the football field as well. 73 at Burke, 83 in Akron, 70 Worcester now, 72 Lorain, Elyria. It's rain-cooled air. See, 70 in Worcester. They were in the lower 80s earlier. 72 Ashland and Mansfield, as well as Norwalk, 75. Cleveland still 80s, though, down Interstate 77 from Akron through Canton through Dover and New Philly. Current radar shows the raindrops. Wayne County, Southern Summit County, now into Stark County, moving into Lawrence Township, stretching down into Wayne County as well. I said Wayne County already. I'm repeating myself now. Here we have showers and storms. Let's zoom on in. I mean, could be a little isolated thunder boomer there. There's Mount Eaton, some of the more moderate rainfall in the yellows and oranges. Now, I told you that this storm that was coming south through Catawba Island may turn a little bit And it is indeed doing that and expanding out, turning towards Sandusky and Cedar Point. So if you've got kids there, give them a quick text saying, all right, you're going to have to stay off the rides for about 20 minutes to a half an hour to let that thunder shower rumble by. Here's a few isolated showers newly developed over the lake, and again sliding southward. They may impact Lorain here and Vermilion in the next little while. The other big weather story, the winds. We have seen some pretty good gusts above 20 miles per hour, gusts to 30 miles per hour, especially near the Lake Erie shoreline through 8 p.m. Then they'll tame down, but it's still going to be a breezy overnight tonight. All right, breezy out there. Temps falling down. Lower 60s for Greater Cleveland, and Akron will be in the upper 50s for Canton, Dover, New Philly, and areas outside the big city lights. But you notice we do clear you out, and tomorrow maybe a couple of clouds during the morning hours, but all in all, sunshine will be the rule through the afternoon. Here we go, 50s, lower 60s for the region. 76 tomorrow, becoming sunny, breezy, and mild through the day. Not a bad day to get outside. Just remember, the heat and humidity have pretty much gone away for a little while. Tonight, look at these waves, 5 to 7 footers. They'll stay 5 to 7 feet tomorrow as well. Small craft advisory out on the lake. 59 tonight for Akron, 76 tomorrow, becoming sunny. Cedar Point, nice day, mid-70s, sunny, a little breezy with that northeast wind. And your 7-day now, Sunday 80, sunshine. There's your pick weekend day. Monday, it's middle 80s. Tuesday, middle and upper 80s. Same for Wednesday. Next round of rain does not arrive until next Thursday.
All right, thank you, Mark. Still ahead on News 5 at 5. A once-in-a-lifetime chance to recreate history.
A World War II Cleveland veteran revisiting the exact spot where she learned the war was over by reenacting what she did that moment more than 70 years ago.
This afternoon, a Cleveland veteran got to experience a special trip down memory lane.
By getting to celebrate the end of the war again, just like she did in 1945. Joined by her daughter, Mabel Johnson was given the chance to recreate that moment by throwing confetti out of a 16th floor window of the Keith building. Johnson served for our country in the Coast Guard during World War II.
We had a little radio, and the president was talking to us. And then everyone was here just throwing things out the window. Yeah. It was really, really a fun day.
Digitally, we have
After the throw, she was also gifted with an artist's rendering of the building, and the conference room on that floor was also renamed in her honor.
You know, I should slide over here.
You're going to slide over here?
Yeah, they told me I had 30 seconds to do this, and I cannot sum up the impact you've had in that short period of time. Oh. But Lee, it has been a joy to work with you over the past 2 years. Oh. You're so much fun to work with, and I've been dreading this day all week long.
Thank you.
So you know what? I checked the schedule, and you were on there for Monday. I made some changes.
You know what?
They told me you can't go anywhere.
For 24 years, this has been the best part of my day. This hour that I've spent with you, my colleagues in the studio, and certainly with you. And I'm so grateful for the faith that you have placed in me and in our team to bring you the news, and to all of you who shared your stories and the joys and sorrows and the victories and the disappointments, all of it. You have my eternal gratitude. It has been a really wonderful 3 decades here.
Oh my goodness. Congrats to you, Lee, and Leon
Thank
as well.
Thank you. We're not done yet, though.
No, we're not. We're not. We've been telling you Lee and Leon's stories all week long as we count down their retirement. And, well, this is it, their last day on the air right here at News 5. It's a big occasion, and we want to mark it with something big and special. In just moments, a half-hour News 5 special with all of the stories we still haven't told you about with Lee and Leon, as well as their final goodbyes to News 5 and you who have been letting us and them into your homes all these years. All of that and more coming up next.